And I'm going to have my little Fathom join. Anybody here like Fathom? Talk about AI. I got to tell you, Fathom is probably one of my favorite little tools. And I have it coming in. It should be right coming in. Oh, that's funny. Okay, hold on 1 second. 1 second. Because it wants to be, yeah, that's good. I record all my meetings, as many of you do as well, probably using the Fathom or maybe use the AI tools. And so, come on. Oh, that's funny. No, you can't. Because this is webinar format and Fathom tells me the meeting type's not supported. Okay, fine, whatever. Anyway, I record all my meetings. This is a Zoom webinar, but my Zoom meetings, I do Fathom. And that's such a nifty little tool. And back in the day, I used to be a minute secretary. I did really fast shorthand and really fast touch typing. And I'm like, oh my God, if Fathom existed back in the day in my 20s, I would have been out of a job. Anyway, I renamed mine to Mari Smith's AI Secretary. And just as a backup, we're going to do this. We are going to go live on YouTube. And bear with me a second, and we will jump right in, my friends. I did a double test of this yesterday and make sure everything's working fine and dandy. Zoom and Facebook, as many of you know, Zoom and Facebook are not playing nicely. They're not playing nicely. So there we go. I'm just going to put it over there. So phooey on Facebook. We're going with YouTube. No, seriously, you can do you can live stream on Facebook through Zoom to your personal Facebook profile. Whoopsies, sorry. Me coming up on my Zoom there. I mean my YouTube. You can stream to your Facebook personal profile, but right now, Zoom, the huge size that Zoom is, the big company that Zoom is, they can't seem to get proper tech support from Meta because they have somehow is not working with Pages. And all of you should know by now that Meta deprecated, not depreciated, but deprecated, took away, got rid of the Facebook Groups API for third parties. So it's just a little more tricky to stream into groups, but you can do that through the what's called the RTMP stream key. I just didn't set that up. I was going to stream into my social scoop group. But anyway, welcome in. Oh my gosh, it's so good to see you all here. I really, really appreciate it. Okay, Kylie has got Otter. Now look at that. Otter can join. Yeah, okay. You guys are Christopher, Kylie, you guys are Otter. Teresa, why then is Fathom? It's so weird that Fathom wouldn't let me join. Monkeys. Anyway, all these otters. I know otters and fathoms. I got to take that up with Fathom. I just gave him a glowing review. Hello, Nicole, just you. Okay, we better get on with it. Dive right in. Welcome in. I am so, so, so happy to see you all here. Let me just clear a couple more things on my desk, and then we will be out of here and diving into share my screen. I've got a wonderful program prepared for you. And I got a couple things with sounds. I'm going to make sure I share my sound. Oh, Christopher says Fathom works for Zoom meetings, not Zoom webinars. Yeah. Thanks, Christopher. I just learned that. That's what I do. I learn by trial and error. Okay, so I think I literally have a sticky note stuck to the side of my screen to remind myself of all the things. Stream on YouTube, record, and share sound, because I do have a couple things, just a couple small things that have some sound in it. So I like to be able to have that. So what we're going to do today, we're going to talk about Facebook marketing in an AI world. Now, of course, when I say Facebook, many of us here have known that, Facebook is Facebook for a couple decades. Meta now is the parent company. Of course, it used to be called Facebook Platforms, or Facebook Inc. that owned Facebook, the app, right? And so then now it's Meta Platforms Inc. that owns Facebook Messenger, WhatsApp, and Instagram, among other things too, right? The Ray-Ban smart glasses, the VR headset, so on and so forth. And so, but I just like to use the word Facebook because most of us resonate with that more than we do with Meta. if you have not heard me speak before, just a quick little bio and bullets. I have been known as the premier Facebook marketing expert since 2007. Guess what? My gosh, is it 17 years? My 17-year Faceversary is coming up on May the 4th. I joined Facebook on Star Wars Day. May the 4th be with you. May the 4th of 2007. Crikey. Yeah. So, and yeah, I just really still very passionate about this platform, even though it can frustrate the heck out of us. I was born in Canada, a little place called Pickering for my fellow Canadians. My parents are 100% Scottish though, and I spent 20 years in Edinburgh, Scotland before emigrating to California in 1999, where I lived in San Diego for 25 years. And then summer of last year, I bought a house in beautiful Ashland, Oregon. So I'm Scottish, Canadian, Californian, Oregonian. Who can tell me? Type in the chat. Whoops, I'm going to back it up. Pretend you didn't see that. How old is Facebook? When we say Facebook, you know, obviously it's Meta. They changed now to Meta. More than 15 years, says Sally. 19. Jan says 20. Nicole says 20. 18. Yeah. How old? Feels like 500 years, says Ed. 23, 21, 25. Almost 20. Oh, you guys are close. Yeah, you Jitka, you saw. I know I didn't mean to click it there. Well, it's absolutely astonishing, but Facebook is actually 20. They've just turned 20 on February 4th, 2004. Some of you might have been here. Have you been here since the beginning? If you have been here since the beginning, for the first 2 years, 04 to 06, you were probably in college, because only, well, you had to have a .edu, right? A .edu address. So you're either, you know, a teacher or a student at college. Now, whoopsies, fast forward too much. What this image here, this little cake, let me get my little draw tool, was created using Meta's AI. See this little thing I got what's his name? I forget his name. Howie, is it Howie? America's Got Talent. Pointing at the watermark. So it says imagined with AI, imagined with AI. And it's got Meta's AI little watermark there. Now, how many of you are a fan of putting watermarks on AI produced content? Let me know in the chat. Personally, friends, I think it's great. I think all AI produced content should have a watermark. And I thought that Meta was actually, you know, kind of blazing a trail that way. It just, I don't know. Yeah, you're saying mad, Dennis. I know. It's tricky, isn't it? Because there's pros and cons. But we're going to do a live demo in a moment. It is a tricky one, isn't it? Now, what's happening with my chat? It's not going away. There it goes. Okay, so I made this cake in Meta AI before they just did the whole big change up, although it's still really the same platform, because you could go to Imagine with Meta AI. Oops, I see why, because I'm on my draw tool. Come on there, we got this. So this is what I put into the prompt. A funky birthday cake for a 20-year-old person. Include the Facebook logo. Now, I don't know about you, but that looks nothing like the Facebook logo, and they can't even spell properly. Happy with one P. I think that's a P. Bip did I know we should make fun of them. Well, and then it gives you 4 images. So let's take a closer look at what else we got, what else this Facebook Meta AI platform spat out. What is this? Can anybody tell me what this logo is? I kept trying to think, what is that logo? I don't know. I asked for the Facebook logo, but even Facebook can't get it right. I almost thought that was the Bitcoin logo, but it's not. It doesn't have the dollar through it. And then hello, is this meant to be Zuckerberg? And I said 20th birthday, it's 23, but look at that. It did get, to be fair, it did get the Facebook logo. And now, I don't know what that says. Happy Pothead? I think it says Happy Pothead. Is this meant to be Zuckerberg? Maybe he smoked some. I don't know. I'm just making you laugh. If you were at my social media marketing world talk, there's quite a bit of today's content is from that talk. Anyway, I don't know about this newspaper with chocolate shavings. What a hoot! What a hoot! So yeah, Zuckerberg with some weird logo. So let's go ahead and do a live demo. We're just going to go over to Meta.ai now because I wanted to show you what's possible, because it's only available in certain countries. So if you're tuning in today in a country that does not have access yet, then just for fun. So one of the things that's cool with Meta.ai is you can go, if I start with Imagine, it starts right away. In fact, let me go ahead and go into the Imagine tool. Imagine a cat. No, see, that's not going to work real time because I'm doing a demo. I'm going to hit refresh. Why is it not doing? Look at that. The URL changed to Icebreaker. Meta.ai Icebreaker. That's interesting. There it goes. As soon as you put imagine, I just had to hit refresh. The minute I type imagine, it's going to go real time. A cat. Imagine a cat. What? It's been buggy. Imagine a cat. Why are you not imagining a cat? Facebook's full of cats. With, there it goes. A giant chef hat making a huge chocolate cake covered, misspelled chocolate, but it didn't matter because it corrected it. Covered in strawberries. So on and so forth. You get the idea, right? So just for fun, I'm going to go back to that prompt I gave it. Let's see how it can do it. Funky birthday cake for a 20. Let's see if it got better, because I made these images in February and I wanted to just wait and see. Here we are in April, end of April, almost May, right? Let's see if it got any better. For a 20-year-old person. Include the Facebook logo. And then so sorry, I'm laughing. I promise we're going to get to some good content today. We're just playing right now. We're just playing around. So I hit, enter. It takes a few minutes. That's a little bit of AI. And so here we go. So I'm going to zoom into each one. We can look at it. That definitely doesn't quite look like, well, maybe sort of the Facebook logo there. What else? What else we have? This one. See, there's Zuckerberg wearing his Ray-Bans. That's not bad. Oh, and it spelled happy birthday correctly now. Now we've actually got the lettering. So that's a good thing. Let's have a look at this one. Happy birthday. Great. It has improved a little bit. There's the Facebook like. I have no idea what this says down here. That's illegible. Anyway, I digress. Just for fun, just to show you what's possible. And so Meta.ai will get you images as well as text. Zuckerberg's on a mission to make the best world-class, he calls it world-class personal assistant. So we just did that for you. Now, many of you here understand what a large language model is, LLM. It's basically, if you think of it as the big giant repository of information, of data points that AI draw generative, because there's lots of types of AI. We're talking generative AI that produces images, it produces text in particular, right? ChatGPT, the main one being known since November of 2022, is it? Right. Now imagine this. We have, who can tell me what this is on the screen? What is that animal? What is this animal and how does it relate to Meta? Does anybody know? With Meta, it's llama drama. It's exactly. Nicole got it. Yeah, it's the name of Meta's large language model. They call it Llama. Now, you might not know, but Mark Zuckerberg tried to buy DeepMind, which is now integrated with Google. He tried to buy the company DeepMind in 2013. Now, imagine if Zuckerberg tried to buy OpenAI with their DALL-E. Right? The DALL-E is the image generation tool that OpenAI owns. Now, if Zuckerberg were ever to, I'm not saying he's going to, I'm just being funny. I'm giving you a little comic relief in my next couple of slides here. So if Meta's Llama hooked up with OpenAI's DALL-E, yes, indeed. There you go. I did make the joke. We would have the Dalai Lama making our images. Sorry, I'm just being silly. Moving on, the 20th anniversary. Zuckerberg posted what his profile looked like on February 4th, 2004. His last update since the beginning, excuse me, member since the beginning. proudly sharing his profile from 2004. Now, I should be sharing the sound. So all that's going to come through the speakers is sound. This one is sound. Hopefully it's not too loud. Just prepare yourself when I hit play on this video. I wanted to share the video that Zuckerberg posted on his profile to celebrate the 20-year anniversary. February 4th here, 20 years ago, I launched a thing. Well, you might have, Zuckerberg, but there was a lot of other people that were your co-founders, and that's for another story, right? Along the way, lots of amazing people joined, and we built some more awesome things. We're still at it, and the best is yet to come. So there's music going to come through your speakers. If it's too loud, just turn it down a little bit. Hopefully it won't be too loud.
I do. I have a feeling this is going to go by really fast.
When we first launched, we were hoping for, maybe 400, 500 people. And now we're at 100,000 people. So who knows where we're going next?
Who knows where we're going next? Did you hear what he said at the end there? That was him being interviewed as like a 19-year-old. When they first launched, they were hoping for maybe 500, what did he say? 500 people, 500,000. Now they're at close to 4 billion. Now I'm pulling out a couple of things from that video.
I do.
Oops, sorry. The song that he chose. Remember that absolutely everything that Zuckerberg does is intentional, it's purposeful. He works with numerous PR agencies. Everything is thoughtfully and carefully and cunningly put out to the world. Oops, did I just say cunningly? So his song choice at Steven Tyler, right? So Dream On by Aerosmith. It's about the hunger to be somebody. That is the name of the song. Dream until your dreams come true. This is Steven Tyler said this about this song. It centers on not giving up and the SHIT you put up with when you're in a new band. So I just thought it was an interesting choice that Zuckerberg made for his 20-year anniversary video. And then I also pulled out this tiny little clip and made an animated GIF of it. Basically it spooked me because I'm like, wait a minute, what, we've got like 19-year-old Zuckerberg morphing into a clone of himself through AI. I don't know where all this is going. But one thing we need to know absolutely is that Zuckerberg, since the beginning of time, has always been obsessed with one word: domination. Absolutely, domination. This is from a Business Insider headline in 2019. Domination is what Zuckerberg's after. Another article here in the Sunday Times, Mark Zuckerberg shouted domination at Facebook meetings in this book. This came out in 2020, Facebook, The Inside Story by Stephen Levy. The Facebook co-founder used the rallying cry partly as a way to overcome his fear of speaking to large groups, it is alleged. So domination. Now, another part of Zuckerberg, I'm putting all this, laying this foundation here for us to understand where Zuckerberg intends to go with AI integrated into every platform and how it impacts us all as creators, as marketers, as business people, as advertisers, as regular human beings and consumers and users of these platforms. Zuckerberg has been fascinated by Augustus Caesar for years, and it raises some questions about the future of Facebook. That's a Business Insider article from 2018. And down at the bottom here, excuse me, Augustus brought about peace, but it came at a high cost. Now, who can tell me, what do you know about the relationship or what the significance of these three Roman emperors are? Magnus Maximus, Julius Caesar Augustus, and Marcus Aurelius. Does anybody know why Mark is so obsessed? Well, we know why he's obsessed. He knows, yeah, exactly, Alessandra. You're saying, does he know how the Roman Empire ended? Exactly. Yeah. Look like chocolate coins. That's funny. Yeah. Yeah, a good point, Teresa, about posting the audio. Yeah, and Sally, yes, you're right. There's several other co-founders. In fact, Dustin Moskovich, he left Facebook to start Asana. Some of you might know Asana, the project management platform that was started by one of the Facebook co-founders. Anyway, so we've got Maxima, August, and Aurelia. Those are the three names of of Zuckerberg's daughters. And here they are pictured, Maxima, August, and our baby Aurelia. This is a picture from July 4th last year, Independence Day in the States. And yes, Zuckerberg never posts pictures of the faces of his daughters, although we can see the face of baby Aurelia. And I don't know why, but the girls are either turned away from the camera or they put little, emojis on their faces. And it was interesting to see a comment in this particular Instagram post. Somebody said, even Zuck doesn't trust his platforms to put his kids' faces up. Well, I suppose when you're one of the richest men in the world and a lot of people might be upset at you. And so he's just protecting his children. I don't know. It's different schools of thought around that, isn't it? Dennis say they're not real kids, they're AI children. Yeah, you're funny, Dennis. So let's press on with our content here. Just take a look at where we're headed with Facebook, Meta, the whole thing. In 2021, Zuckerberg goes all in on building the metaverse. Remember, that's when the company changed to Meta, the parent company. It was a big deal. And then in 2022, the year of efficiency, after investing billions and losing billions, 10 billion, tens of billions, and trying to build the metaverse, there had to be massive layoffs, tightening up budgets, letting go of anything not producing. Then fast forward 2023, last year, Zuckerberg declared a turbocharged focus on AI. And then they launched the Threads app. Anybody here on Threads? Are you liking Threads? Are you using Threads? Does Threads have a real future? We'll see. We'll see. Sabrina, you're using it, honey? Yeah. Gil, no. Orestes. Yes, you're using Threads? Thread's totally useless, says Warwick. Yeah, I know. I started it out, but yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, Zuck's billionaire bunker. Is that 100 million? Really? Yeah. He has his Mark's Meats. He's doing his Mark's Meats. I don't know. He's from another planet. Anyway, 2024, business AIs. AI will be our biggest investment area in 2024. He said that late 2023. So it is absolutely all about AI. Remember, I said a little bit ago that Zuckerberg tried to buy DeepMind in 2013, 11 years ago. He's been trying to dominate in AI. And of course, it was very tricky because they didn't necessarily have what it takes to push forward and invest in AI. Now, Yann LeCun, I like following Yann LeCun. That's YANN, and his last name is LECUN. So Yann LeCun is the head of AI at Meta. Now, let me just pause here for a quick second while I pull something up for you that I wanted to put on the docket. Yes, 1 second. We're going to go to the blog and we're just going to go like this and come out of there and here. Okay, so one of my favorite AI resources is the Marketing AI Institute, started by my good friend Paul Raitzer. Met him many times, a wonderful human being. We've shared the stage at many different conferences. And if you don't listen to the podcast, I highly recommend you do. Their podcast is amazing. Comes out every Tuesday. This episode just dropped this today's episode dropped this morning, but this is an episode from last week. And in here, let me just see if I can do this search. DeepMind. Yeah. So this is where you can learn a little bit more in this episode about Zuckerberg. Actually, I think it's easier if I search for Zuckerberg's name. Where back to 2013, that's where you have where Zuckerberg's Paul Raitzer is talking about Zuckerberg trying to buy DeepMind and so on and so forth. So it's a great episode if you haven't seen it already. It's a wonderful place to stay informed of what's happening in the entire AI, specifically for business, for marketing, obviously, right? It's called the Marketing Artificial Intelligence Show. Now, Zuckerberg is not just working on generative AI. He is focused on what's called AGI, Artificial General Intelligence. Whoopsies. Shoot, sorry, folks. Let me go back. Trying to get my little draw tool. AGI. It's a little hard to articulate. Maybe some of you here know. Do you understand what AGI is? I'm still wrapping my own head around it. It's basically where you've got the bots, the machines that have self-awareness, autonomy, and even we could think of them as like sentient beings. We're all going to be walking around with a little bot assistant and carrying stuff for us and doing errands and telling us about the whole world. I don't know what the future holds with AGI, but just keep your eye on what Zuckerberg's doing because he has the money to invest in these massive machines that will create artificial general intelligence. I'm going to play you a little clip here, another little video clip, 30 seconds of a longer video from not too long ago where he's talking about the investments they're making in AI. All right, let's take a listen to Zuckerberg here.
Hey everyone. Today I'm bringing Meta's two AI research efforts closer together to support our long-term goals of building general intelligence, open sourcing it responsibly, and making it available and useful to everyone in all of our daily lives. It's become clearer that the next generation of services requires building full general intelligence. Building the best AI assistants, AIs for creators, AIs for businesses, and more. That needs advances in every area of AI, from reasoning to planning to coding to memory and other cognitive abilities.
Okay, there you go. See? So not just generative AI. This is what kind of troubles me a little bit when there's so many, with all due respect, I don't like to be critical. There's room for everybody on the planet. Everybody's unique and different. At the same time, I'm sure many of you will observe with me that there was an awful lot of overnight experts that just sprung up. Then you saw like people were selling like prompts and scripts for ChatGPT and people claiming to be, you know, AI experts. Okay, great, no problem. Maybe it's predominantly generative AI for generating content, right? Images, text, videos, voice, you name it. But as we just saw here with Zuckerberg's video, it's way more than that. And keeping our eye on where all this is going is whoops, the next part here. AI's future is about way more than generative AI for generative AI or AI chatbots. So again, as a savvy marketer, we're just keeping an eye on this. We don't have to get all freaked out. You don't have to suffer from FOMO, that's for sure. The fact you're on this webinar, or maybe you're catching the replay after the fact, is wonderful. I'm grateful that you're here, and I'm honored to be able to share, you know, the knowledge that I've been accumulating over the last year plus, and what's happening here really longer than that, specifically around AI. I mean, here's Zuckerberg claiming that over time, I think a lot of us are going to talk to AIs frequently throughout the day, and I think a lot of us are going to do that through glasses. Now, these are the Ray-Ban, the Meta Ray-Ban. Does anybody own a pair of these Ray-Bans? Gloria saying, I don't want to wear glasses. I'm curious if any of you actually owns a pair or is thinking about buying a pair. I'm seeing some no's. I got so close. I got to tell you, friends, right in February there, just before Social Media Marketing World Talk, several thousand people there in San Diego, I was so tempted. I thought, you know what? I'm going to get a pair of these and I'm going to get on stage and I'm going to share with everybody. And then I'm like, no, I don't want to have these things on my eyes and whatever it's tracking. Right, exactly. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this, but let me go to the announcement just from last week. New Ray-Ban Meta Smart Glasses styles, the new cat, they have new cat eye styles, whatever. And then just they've added in video calling with WhatsApp and Messenger. They've got this thing called Meta AI with Vision. You can ask your glasses about what you're seeing and get helpful information. So okay, fair enough. I think there's probably a lot of use cases. Now, for example, this was shared by a friend of mine. I blurred out his name because he did share it to friends of friends, not public, but even so, I'm sure he wouldn't mind if we all saw it, saw who it was. But anyway, longtime friend of mine and in the Facebook world. And he says, hey, Meta. Oh, so he's wearing the glasses. This is him sharing a conversation with us, Ray-Ban Meta. Hey, Meta, look at this book and tell me about it. Boom, right away starts telling because it's seeing, right? It's seeing, it's interacting. Hey, Meta, is this well reviewed on Goodreads? 4.32 rating on over 68,000 reviews. Hey, Meta, tell me some other similar books. Whoa, he says, whoa, this is amazing. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, maybe there's some cool use cases. It's early days yet. I'm not going to go on and on about the Meta glasses. We're kind of in the future part of my talk. We've got much more practical things coming for advertisers, marketers, businesses. This is Eva Chen. Does anybody here follow her? She has been doing fashion at Instagram, I want to say for well over a decade, maybe even longer. I've been following her for a while. You can see she's got 2.5 million followers. She does fashion Instagram. Well, she and Zuck, just the other day there, Meta had sent her the cat eye. She's all excited about getting the cat eye glasses. She got a black pair and a white pair, and she's wearing this big fancy chain with her letter E on it, and whatever. It's, I don't know, probably a fashion thing. But what's interesting is Zuckerberg is also wearing a chain. And so here's Zuck saying, I caught up with Eva to talk chains. Why are they talking about chains? And try new Ray-Ban Meta features we're launching today, like video calling from your glasses, new glasses styles. We're also releasing Meta AI with vision, so you can ask questions about what you're looking at. We just saw a little bit of that with the book. And then just this morning, I was going through my slides one more time, and just this morning, Zuck posts this picture. I guess he's growing his hair out. He's got this curly hair that I guess he's going for longer hair. Somebody told him that maybe he'd look less alien. I mean, oops, did I just say that out loud? He'd look less weird, less AI, and more human with longer hair. I don't know. I'm just making it up. Somebody might have told him that. And Eva comments on his post. I'm once again asking, where's the chain? Well, what happened is that the last week when Meta announced the Meta.ai, the Meta, this is Zuckerberg, and you'll notice he's wearing this big chain. And so when I'm watching that video he made with Eva on the glasses, and they're going on about the chains, I'm like, is Meta working on AI wearables? Does anybody here know about that thing, that humane pin? They had a bit of a PR disaster. The thing was buggy, didn't work too well. So it was a wearable, one little wearable brooch, like a little brooch that supposedly talks to you and everything. I don't know. Somebody made a meme of that. Somebody gave him a beard and made a little meme. This thing with the chain went bonkers. Now, anyway, whatever. I digress. Do we keep our eyes out on whether Meta's working on wearables? Who knows? Will Meta's AGI model crush GPT-4? This is where I'm talking about with the amount of money. It's about 40 grand per what's called a H100 is these giant processors. GPU is a graphics processing unit. And so by comparison, if we're looking at about 14 to maybe as much as 18 or 20 billion dollars compared to what OpenAI has invested, and this is apparently, they never actually shared, but supposedly about 600,000 H100 equivalents compared to possibly OpenAI 25,000. Anyway, it's just, yeah, this was a headline at Marketing AI Institute a few months ago. Will their model, Meta's model, crush GPT-4? Who knows? We shall see. The thing is, we can absolutely know for certain that one thing Meta has is a boatload of money. They are a $1 trillion company. They're number 6 in the largest American companies by market cap. Now, one thing that's interesting about this chart is that NVIDIA, who makes the chips, whoopsies, sorry, my friends, I keep going click when I need to do my draw tool. NVIDIA, when I took this screenshot last time in February for my social media marketing talk, NVIDIA was number 5. Fast forward just 2 months, February, March, April, and the NVIDIA has jumped from position 5 to position 3. It's amazing, because of these chips. So maybe some of you here invest in NVIDIA stock, but yeah, they have money. Here's an article projecting, can Meta become a $3 trillion company in the next few years? Who knows? Meta's building a world-class AI assistant for basically everyone. This was a major announcement that Zuckerberg made a few months ago. And he's saying everyone who uses our services will have a world-class AI assistant. So creators, businesses, and then developers, right? Because they're making it open source. Now, we all here are businesses. Maybe you consider yourself a creator. Maybe there's some developers here, but most everyone here tuning into this webinar or catching the replay is a business, an advertiser, a marketer. And so he's saying every business will have an AI that their customers can interact with to buy goods and get support. I personally, friends, I'm incredibly excited about that. If we can help our customers to have a better experience, to answer pre-purchase questions, to guide them using AI to the right offer for them, to provide post-sales support, all the better. I am definitely 2 thumbs up on that one. And so as we know, the most popular social networks worldwide, Meta owns 4 of them, right? 4 out of the top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, certainly 10, right? But there they are in the top 7. Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger. And this is just as of last week, bang up-to-date stats from the Q1 earnings call. And there's 3.2 billion people per day using one or more of the Meta platforms. We're including WhatsApp here too, and Threads. Okay, Facebook, Instagram, Messenger, WhatsApp, and Threads. So obviously massive, massive company. Now then, oh my gosh, whoopsie daisies. The wolf is at the door. Now, some of you might have tuned in to my webinar. Oh, I got a slide for it. That I led with Ben Angel. That was last month, 5 weeks ago or something. AI Marketing Unleashed, what it means for the future of social media marketing. Now, it is this wonderful call with Ben, and we had a nice long chat. Many of you were there. If you didn't, you're absolutely welcome to watch the replay. And I'll just pop that link right there for you. And perhaps you've already seen it, but if not, you can catch the replay right there. And Ben's book, The Wolf is at the Door. If I back up for a second here and give you the subtext, How to Survive and Thrive in an AI-driven World. It's an excellent book. I know there's a lot of books out there. I don't remember if it's the audio, if it has the audio version out. He's from Australia, so I hope he reads it. I hope he's able to, or at least clone his voice to read it in his lovely Australian accent. Hey, Ben, love you. So there's a thing here in his book, that quote, he says that social media is a lure deliberately crafted to seize our attention, pales when compared with the cutting edge integration of AI and personalization. It's true. It's absolutely, it's exciting. It's scary. It's all the things all at once. So in the book, there's an article here that a section, that talks about the attention economy, right? The attention economy is what we live in. There's eyeballs are monetizable. My longtime friend, Gary Vaynerchuk would say. The 5 critical phases of the attention economy is growth, peak, saturation, post-peak, and survive to thrive. Now, if we apply these 5 phases to where we're at right now with AI, we're definitely in the growth phase, rapidly approaching peak and even saturation, because it's overwhelming. Every time you open your Facebook or Instagram or Threads or whatever you use, X these days, it's just overwhelming how there's new tools, and it can be easy to be like a Mexican jumping bean or a grasshopper or a frog, just jumping around at every new bright shiny object, thinking that you have to master the new tool, and that's going to be the great be all end all. But my friends, there's social saturation has been around for a little while now. We got 5 billion people around the whole world spending 3 to 4 hours a day bouncing around basically between 7 and 9 apps every month. And then there's new apps every day. This is just social media I'm talking about. Is it no wonder there's total overwhelm when it comes to social media saturation? And then now where we're quickly moving to is AI saturation. It's like too much already. And I know many of you here feel that way, and that you might be like, no, that's it. I'm putting my ostrich head in the sand. I am not going to, AI is not going to get me. Well, plug your fingers, la la la. Friends, we can't ignore it. It's going to get to a point where you have to be careful, where you're like, no, I'm not going to touch it. No, AI is bad. Especially I see folks out there saying, AI is terrible, AI this, AI is that. And then I'll just gently, because I like to be respectful and mindful of people, and I'll say, did you realize that when you're dictating to your phone, whether you're Android or iPhone or whatever, and you're using a transcript service to dictate, or you're on Gmail or whatever, you're typing and you've got that predictive text where it's guessing your next word. Did you realize that's AI? That's good use of artificial intelligence, I think, anyway. Now, here's the thing. Everybody, like Ross on Friends here, is shouting, pivot, 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 right? It's just been a word, it's a term that's been around for quite a while. Very popular, of course, throughout the pandemic. Everybody's pivoting. But since AI, ChatGPT blasted onto the scene late 2022, everybody's shouting pivot, pivot, pivot. Now, I'm here to implore you all as fellow professionals, fellow marketers, fellow business folks, instead shout pilot, pilot, pilot. Okay. Now we go back to our friends at the AI Institute, the Marketing AI Institute, excuse me. And one of the things that Paul Reitzer and his team offer is a program on piloting AI. Now, I don't have any vested interest in promoting Paul and his team. I just love what they're up to. They're one of my top resources, and they have a program there. If that's of interest, you can check it out. If it's not suitable at the moment, my main point in saying pilot is no matter what size company that you own or run or work for, see how you can choose to start integrating AI across certain functions. And perhaps there's people in the team can take ownership. Maybe it's for content generation, maybe it's for video repurposing, maybe it's for ideation, maybe it's for a specific process. And then you go ahead and pilot, you test it. You're going to test some things out. And then when things are working and flowing is when you can start to really integrate. So with that, let's talk about what exactly is Meta doing with AI. Yeah, exactly, Teresa. AI has been around for a while in places people may not even realize. Oh, that's true, Sabrina. I like that. There's low-key AI and then there's over-the-top AI. Exactly. Yeah, yeah. Uh-huh. Iman, you're saying I'm personally uncomfortable in using AI for marketing strategies. Yeah, Catherine is absolutely correct. Catherine, the algorithm, the news feed, Facebook's news feed, which they ended up patenting, came out in 2012. They called it the most inglorious launch because people pushed back. There was like a Facebook group with 1 million people in it in 2012 that said, give us back our old Facebook. We hate the news feed. But yeah, that is controlled by AI. The algorithms are. So let's take a look at, I think I have 9 or 10 things on this slide of what Meta's doing in AI. So you've got the write with AI text prompt. And I've got many of these individual ones. I'm going to show you slides with examples. We're going to have a look at it. Write with AI text prompt, maybe. Imagine with Meta AI, I showed you some with the possibilities there with the cake and the cat and whatever. We're just goofing around. It's definitely come a long way. It's come a long way in the last, even just in the last couple of months. If I go back to, I think I still have it open. One of the things that you can do is to animate. So let's just grab this one on the screen. We're just going to go ahead and animate it so you can add a bit of movement. This is relatively new as of like, okay, great. Just get a tiny bit of movement. Now we can download that. I think it's an MP4 or a GIF. But so now you've got a little bit of movement. Okay, great. I don't know why they don't make them vertical though. Why did they make them square? Does anybody know why DALL-E and Meta AI and whatever else, the output is square? I would prefer to have them as if we can change it up into the, 9:16 format or 16:9, whatever it is. Anyway, AI stickers, meh, forget it. Celebrity AI chats, nope, forget it. Big PR stunt. Some celebrities made millions of dollars. Good for them. Is it for us? Doubt it. Nope. Meta AI in groups, big question mark. Not sure. I got a slide for you coming up on that. Custom AI chats for your business. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, yes, yes. As I said earlier about pre and post sales and customer support. Yep. And not to the exclusion of people. We need people as well. You have to be able to have a little like hands up. Talk to a real human. No, I don't want to talk to this bot anymore. Please, can I talk to a real human? We're always going to need that. Meta.ai, yeah. If you're using Gemini, Google Gemini, Microsoft Copilot, ChatGPT, all the ones, right? Jasper, Perplexity for searches, whatever, then maybe Meta AI will slowly but surely become a tool that you use regularly. And of course, it is baked right into the search bar of Messenger, Instagram Direct, and WhatsApp. And if it's not in your country yet, it is coming. Right? Or have it there as a separate line because you've got Meta.ai where you use it on the desktop, like I just showed you. And then you go to the little circle, you'll see it. You'll know when you have access because you've got this colorful circle I have on the screen right here to the right is the Meta AI icon logo. And you'll see that at the end of the search bar on all your different apps. And then the 9th one, I do have Meta AI baked into, Meta Business Suite and Meta Ads Manager. Now, I can't say any more about that because I'm under NDA. I'm under NDA until May 7. But something's coming. Something's coming. I've been predicting this for a while, regardless of my NDA. I've been predicting for a while. Meta, absolutely. Of course, they're going to bake AI into Meta Business Suite. So we can just go in there. Why would we go anywhere else when we can just press a few buttons, put a prompt in, come up with an image, a video, a voice, a text, create our content, schedule it, check our stats, so on and so forth, right? And I'm sure they'll be doing all kinds of interesting things in the ads manager. Now, I just saw this yesterday. We're going to see more of these memes. Somebody's made this meme to tell you how to quote unquote turn off Meta AI. Now, if you have started a chat, this instructions are in Messenger. You can go in and you can mute the conversation. It only works if you've already started a chat. So it's not going to turn off Meta AI, though. There's no way. There's no opt out. If you use the Meta platforms, you are absolutely not you. You don't have to use the Meta AI, but it's absolutely there. Now that was actually my friend Scott Monty that shared that wonderful human. Many of you know him, former head of social at Ford, and years ago started his own company. But yeah, it's just saying, in case you want to know how to shut off Meta AI, here you go. I'm sorry, Scott, not quite correct, but it's certainly muting the conversation if you've started one. You can't shut off Meta AI. All right, so individual aspects of what Meta's doing, and then we'll get into the rest of the presentation as well. So I don't know about you, I am not that impressed with whatever the Write with AI prompt. I goofed around with it when it first came out a few months ago. If you don't have it yet, it's coming. You start to write something, or you just have it write something for you. I think you have to put something. You have to put a little prompt. Well, I put a little update in there, and then if you swipe, you can swipe. You know, push along this way, and you got more options here. And so I think there's one like make it funny, make it inspirational. I think, or make it informal. I forget which one I chose, but I was like, okay, maybe it was funny or informal. I think it was informal. And so then it changed my update to yo dog, like YODAWG, yo dog. And I'm like, yeah, okay, thanks. Mari's not really a yo dog person. I'm not gonna post that. Whatever. Thanks for the suggestion, Meta AI. Hey, Melanie, the prompt. Yeah, you were so confused. Not impressed with Write with it. Yeah, Nicole saying not impressed. Carrie. It's like just whatever, right? It's just a whatever. It's like a it's just Zuckerberg going like, hey, anything you all can do, we can do as well. So let's see. Whoopsie, I think I'm on my draw. Now, imagine with Meta AI, this was when it first came out. I think I made this late last year, and it's still coming along, nice improvements. Photorealistic, not bad. You're still getting some extra limbs here and there. You're getting some weird faces that looked like people had some dreadful surgery that went wrong. Sorry to say, but who knows? You can literally put in the prompt, make it photorealistic. And now what they've improved since last year is you can regenerate. The AI stickers, you'll find them in your stories, Instagram stories. I don't think they're in Facebook stories yet, and they're in Messenger. I think they're just a waste of time. Forget it, whatever. Now, what about Meta AI in your group? This was first announced in December 2023. Meta AI can save you time and spark conversations by answering questions posted in your group. Uh-oh, do we really want AI answering questions on our behalf? Linking people to the posts they find most helpful and more. Sign up your group to be first to access when it becomes available. Now, that was just signing up to be on the wait list. Some of you have it already. I made this post on my Facebook page with this screenshot in December 2023. And then people have since come back who've enabled it in their group. And guess what? Nobody's seeming to like it. Here's someone saying, I signed up for it, but I hate it now. The AI is approving all kinds of posts and comments we want to keep out of our group. How do I disable it? How do I turn off this idiotic forced feature in my groups? I've looked for the setting, cannot find it. It's like Facebook is purposely trying to lose customers. How do I disable it? And one more, all I want to know is how to opt out. And then this person goes on to talk about Messenger, which is different from the group's AI. AI is sending messages to people in my name to people who follow me. Where are you located? Are you available to chat? Tell me more about yourself. Like those are AI questions to people that follow them. It makes me sound like a freaking creep, and there's no way to turn it off. I hate it. I'm sure. Laughing, not laughing, right? Hashtag funny, not funny. This person probably doesn't realize that you actually can turn off those messenger prompts in the chat bot in your messenger settings. But even so, back to the thing about groups, I'm very reticent to enable this in my group. My team and I run a very tight ship at my Social Scoop Facebook group. Many of you are members. If you're not, love to have you there. And it's just the idea of putting just, overly delegating. Oof, I don't know. I think it's just too early days. I don't trust what Meta AI is going to do. Anyway, moving on to what is potentially exciting, creating your own AI assistant. This is coming, the ability for us to create it. This was the announcement when they had all those celebrities. I just think the celebrities ones were just whatever, a waste of space. And then the person earlier, I forget who it was, Teresa, someone who said, isn't the algorithms AI powered? Yes, the algorithms are. And what's relatively new in the last few years as a blatant copycat from TikTok, right? Remember, anything TikTok does, Zuckerberg's going to do even better. Well, I don't know if it's better, but he's certainly going to copy them, right? So what exactly is this AI powered discovery engine? That is where the content that you see in your feed has been recommended for you based on what the algorithms think it knows you better than anyone on the planet, your spouse, partner, best friend, dog, mother, and everybody all put together. Well, it originally was 20% of the feed content. Now, as of, this was on the earnings call last week, now 30% on Facebook and half, 50% of the content that you see on Instagram is suggested or recommended, meaning it's coming from what they call unconnected. It's people who you do not follow, pages, accounts, people you don't know, you never heard of, random stuff. Now, how these platforms are created, they're created to be addictive. They're created to be addicting. They create those dopamine hits in our brains. We don't know what we're going to get. We thumb scroll. Ooh, that's a surprise. Ooh, a little bit more surprise. Ooh, a little bit more surprise. What am I going to get next? I just watched a cat video. Here's another funny cat video. It can be the bane of many people's lives. However, the reason Meta keeps pushing it is it's driving an increase in time spent on Facebook by 7% and Instagram by 6%. Now, why is that? It's because of that element of surprise. It's addicting, and they want us addicted. Remember, eyeballs are monetizable. This is a screenshot directly from the Meta platform's earnings call just a few days ago. 30% of the posts in Facebook feed, and that's up 2x, twice, right? Over the last couple of years. And for the first time ever, more than 50% of the content people see on Instagram is now AI recommended. Okay, and you think, well, and we're supposed to be excited about that because why? What about the people I've chosen to follow? However, let's put a different hat on, friends. Let's spin it around and go, okay, I'm a business owner. I work for a company or a brand, and I want more people to see my content on Facebook and Instagram, right? So this is the good side, the positive side of the AI-powered discovery engine, because your content could get recommended to people who you might never have reached had you even through ads. And so that's a good thing. AI has also always been a huge part of how we create value for advertisers by showing people more relevant ads. So that's a good thing too. And they've got all these end-to-end AI-powered tools. You've got Advantage Plus shopping, Advantage Plus app campaigns, and then just the way in which they do their ads and their ad targeting, where you don't have to get as granular now. You can give it some specific parameters and then let the AI find the people who are most likely to want to become a customer. So even so, with this AI-powered discovery engine, we're definitely all being programmed, right? We're being programmed. Facebook, Meta, the whole works, they're telling us what to think, by pushing this content. Half the content on Instagram is not what we've chosen, it's what Meta's chosen, Instagram's chosen for us. And so we've been given this narrative for a long time now. We're told it's about being a creator. It's about pushing out masses of content. Oh my God, it's about monetizing your content. Hey, keep cranking out content. We'll even give you money. Hands up here who remembers the Reels bonus play program. You could get as much as 30 grand, $30,000 for a viral reel. I actually know someone that happened to. Some of you here know Molly Mahoney, my good friend Molly. We've been friends forever. And she actually had this crazy fluke viral reel that she got. She got some big chunk of money from Facebook. But anyway, that's what they're pushing. It's this carrot that they're dangling in front of us. Like, oh my gosh, please keep making content because we'll give you money to make content. Well, what we don't realize is that they want us to make content because they can put ads in there. So I'm here to tell you all, my friends, no, we don't need to fire hose our audiences. We're living in a time of infinite content with finite attention. It's not about cranking out more content. Just because you have AI tools at your fingertips and you can produce a lot of content, that doesn't mean, oh my God, it's time to crank up the volume. And I love this quote by Seth Godin. If your work isn't more useful or insightful or urgent than GPT can create in 12 seconds, so I like to say crank out in 12 seconds, then don't even bother interrupting people with it, because it is not about overwhelming people with more content. I'm going to give you in the next part of my presentation here, the rest of this message about what you can do, what's proactively can do to stop being a meta marionette. It's what I call meta. We're all puppets on a string. And my friends, it is time to take back control, because we don't want to be manipulated and coerced and controlled and algorithmed to death with being told what we're supposed to do. You're in the driver's seat. You get to decide what's true for you. Remember my friend Ben Angel's book here, The Wolf is at the Door. That, by the way, the wolf in Ben's book is from Little Red Riding Hood. If you know that nursery rhyme, that children's fable about the wolf coming to the door and pretending to be the grandmother, and horrible consequences. Didn't the grandmother ate the girl or something horrible like that? Well, I'm using the wolf metaphor, and I'm bringing in a slightly different wolf. You remember the Three Little Pigs? Another nursery rhyme, the Three Little Pigs. Well, there is a wolf in the Three Little Pigs story. And that is where the three piggies were building their house, right? One with straw, one with sticks, and one with bricks. Now, remember that I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house down. Well, the wolf was able to blow the house of straw and the house of sticks down, but he can't blow the house of bricks down. So I'm here to tell you, using this metaphor of the Three Little Piggies and the wolf, is that I don't want you to build your house with straw. And that is jumping on board every single AI app. Pivot, pivot, pivot. Oh my God. Oh, there's 20 more tools. I have to master them. I'm going to stay up all night. Okay, bright, shiny object syndrome. And you're constantly pivoting to the next thing, the next new thing. By the way, as you can see from the little watermark, I did make these. Oh, I see. Now where's my draw tool? That's funny. Lost my draw tool. Oh, well, I made these, oh, there's my little pointer thing. In Imagine with Meta AI, so Meta AI, and I tried with my prompt to get it to make a really angry, fierce, vicious looking wolf and a terrified little pig, but it kept giving me, my piggies were just so happy. They're like grinning away and happy. So I ended up having to do two separate images, and I made the angry looking wolf with the straw house, and then I made a separate piggy and overlaid them. Just a sidebar, whatever. So you also do not build your house with sticks. And the sticks in my metaphor here is making inauthentic synthetic content, cloning yourself to be efficient, and cranking out 300 days of content in 30 minutes. I have to let my cat out 1 second. Sorry. Left my door shut to keep the heat in. We got cold snap down here in Ashland. And so, okay, look, I'm not knocking this. If you want to clone yourself, if you want to make synthetic content, which is anything AI generated, if you want to crank out tons of content, go for it. I'm not here to knock anybody. You do you. I'm going to encourage you in this final closure part of my session here. I know we're at the top of the hour. I did allow 90 minutes for this. Maybe we'll go 75, and I'll do some questions as well if you have them. Really, really appreciate you being here. I'm delighted, and I'm really enjoying sharing this knowledge with you. So using this metaphor, remember the wolf's at the door is the Red Riding Hood metaphor. And mixed with the piggy, the Three Little Pigs metaphor, is that if you build your house with these bricks, I got 5 bricks for you. You'll need more than 5 bricks to build your house, but these are 5 giant bricks. If you build your house with these bricks, then the wolf of AI will not be able to blow your business down, blow your house down. Number 1 brick is to stay focused. We live in the most distracted times ever. And a book that I highly recommend by Nir Eyal is called Indistractable. It came out a few years ago, How to Control Your Attention and Choose Your Life. Now, interestingly enough, Nir Eyal also was the author before this book. He wrote a book called Hooked. Hooked. And it's about how to create addictive or addicting platforms. And apparently his book Hooked was on the desk of every Silicon Valley leader back in the day. And it's like, okay, thanks Nir Eyal. You've created all these platforms to get us hooked, and now you're telling us how to not be distracted. But I think he realized that's a better way. So staying focused. And also in Ben's book, Ben's Wolf at the Door book, he talks about how focus is your most valuable asset. You know how, and I don't know if this is a gender thing, but I think sometimes women are better at multitasking, but there's really no such thing as multitasking. What we're doing, and some time management experts or focus or productivity experts call it task switching, right? You get this micro attention. I'm focused on this project, then I'm jumping to that, and then this one, and then over to this one, and you're like micro hopping around between tasks. So thinking about focusing on what makes you unique, you, your business, your brand, your offerings, what makes you so special and unique that you can focus on staying really attuned to that uniqueness. Be very, very careful of BSOS. Does anybody know what BSOS means? I kind of made that acronym up, but it is a thing. I kind of like how it's BSOS. Vicky's saying the AI boom is bringing the life back to San Francisco. I met a prompt engineer at a party this weekend. That's funny. Yeah. Did you, Prima, I think you just looked that up. Did you just look that up on ChatGPT or something? Yeah. Oh, somebody just got it there. Lisa, ding, ding, ding. You got it right. It is indeed. It's bright, shiny object syndrome. It is so, listen, friends, like Nir Eyal said, we live in the most distracted times ever. It is so easy to sit down at your desk and go, okay, I'm going to produce this, offer. I'm going to work on this client contract. I'm going to work on this money-making project. And before you know it, hours have gone by and you're down a rabbit hole or a million rabbit holes thinking you have to master AI. I had a mentor in 2012. She was a billionaire, and I spent a small fortune, multiple six figures I spent in this 1 year to invest with this mentor whom I'd wanted to work with for quite some time. And she had this message. She always would tell me, Mari, business is boring. You learn what works, you rinse, you repeat. Now, today's world, AI is certainly making business exciting, but not at the expense of serving our clients and being productive. Of course, AI can help us be productive, but we don't want to miss out on those relationships and connections, right? So one of the things that I absolutely love, and I've been studying for the past 4 years that helps us understand and know ourselves and others, it has personal applications and business applications, is the human design system. It's the most profound system I've ever found. And I have studied them all: Enneagram, Myers-Briggs, DISC, what's the one, the Strengths Finder, oh, you name it, all of them. And this one is absolutely the most accurate ever. Many of you might be familiar with it already. A few years ago, I launched a separate platform using Mighty Networks. It's just called Mari Smith Superstars. It's free to join. You have to create a Mighty Networks account, but you're more than welcome to come over there and join us. I'm just going to grab that URL and put it in. So there's a lot of free resources if you have any interest in the human design system. I'm not leaving social media or Facebook. I am integrating human design into my work. I actually led a program just earlier this year called Mentor with Mari Smith, where I integrated the human design system into marketing and social media and business development. And I absolutely loved it. We had a wonderful, wonderful time. I will be offering that again soon. So, and actually, speaking of human design, you all are the first to know. This is the business application of human design. It's called the BG5 Business Institute. It's the business application of human design. I've been studying both the business side and the personal side. And for the first time ever, I am going to be leading a program, a special live program in the summer, teaming up with my favorite teacher, Lavina Archers, who's phenomenal, excellent, excellent teacher. And we are leading a course together called Blueprint for Social Media Success. It's a social media program specifically for human design professionals and BG5 business professionals. So really, really just thrilled about that. If you or someone you know is a business, a human design or business BG5 professional, you're welcome to come join us there. So really excited about that. You, my friend, are born to be different. The human design system is so profound in showing you exactly how you are here to stand out, to be different, to be uniquely yourself, to love your skills and strengths and brilliance. And in a work perspective, a personal perspective. I made this PSA, public service announcement, in March of last year. This was March 30 last year, because there was such a deafening cacophony happening with ChatGPT and AI, and everybody's like, oh, FOMO. I'm like, whoa, wait, stop. You don't have to, quote, keep up, whatever even that means. What is keep up? Can anyone really humanly, physically, quote, keep up? I mean, my friend Paul Reitzer and Mike Kaput from the Marketing and AI Institute, they keep up with AI and tech in the business and marketing world. I don't think they're keeping up with everything AI under the sun and planet, right? Tech's going to keep moving at warp speed. Stay focused on your own priorities and vision. Do your deep work. And then I actually shared a little screenshot in the comments of some of my favorite books. Deep Work by Cal Newport. There's Indistractable again. And the middle book is called The One Thing by Gary Keller and Jay Papasan. And the one thing for you might be, for example, doing a webinar. You do a webinar like I'm doing today. That could be your one thing. You just focus on doing amazing free webinars, and then you lead people into what else you offer. Maybe it's doing live events, it's coaching, it's consulting, it's if you're in e-commerce, it's a specific product that's your biggest money maker that you keep focusing on. That's the one thing that you're going to focus on, and everything else fits in around that. And then the book line on the table here is Let Your Life Speak, Listening for the Voice of Vocation by Parker J. Palmer, beautiful book. All right, so that was one. Number one was focus. Number two brick that you're building your house with so AI can't blow your house down is to matter more. What do I mean by that? What does it mean to matter more? Well, I love following this gentleman, Jay Akunzo, on Instagram there. He is really a great expert in talking about stories and weaving the personal storytelling component into our content and the work that we do. So he has this great message here. The point isn't to get your work shared. The point is to make things worth sharing. Now, there's a difference. I can feel it when I tune into it. I can feel the frequency of the difference. To just sit down and go, okay, let's use AI to just crank out 300 posts and just let's increase our volume by 2x, 3x. Maybe then more people will see us and find us. What if it's like, no, what if we could go deeper? What if we could matter more? What if we could resonate with our audience more? You know, that is definitely a good use of AI, is using AI tools to crunch and analyze and assess more about your audience. So you can surface insights specifically about what matters to your audience and then do more of that. The point isn't to generate subscribers. The point is to make things worth subscribing to. I love that. It's simple. It might sound trite. It might sound just like a meme. No, to me, this has incredible meaning. Like, yeah, I don't just want a boatload of numbers. I don't want like tons of people just subscribing. No, I want people to write back to me and go, Mari, I love what you wrote this morning. I loved your emails. I put your emails on See First and in my important filter, and I always love what you have to say, or today's issue was particularly revealing, whatever it might be, right? And then he says the third part is we want reach, but that doesn't happen without resonance, what he calls resonant, people resonating with our message or brand or personality, etc. Don't market more, matter more. So is it time to reevaluate? What is your engagement rate? You don't have to tell me, but engagement rates are down across the board. Because I don't know, sometimes friends in some of my talks, I say, crikey, you know what? We've all been sold this bill of goods because we think social media marketing success is just pushing out tons of content. And if nobody engages with it, then we're failing at social media. That's just not true. It's about really creating deeper connections and actually maybe holding back on content, not going quite as crazy with the volume. You might be publishing too much. Maybe your content isn't compelling enough. Maybe it's missing the mark. What is on the email? If you have an email list, an email newsletter, hopefully you do, looking at what your open and click rates are. Now, open rates across the board are more difficult to be accurate in today's world, the way that the email platforms work, and it just sits on your screen. You haven't read it, but if it goes by in the preview pane, it's showing as an open, but click rates are more reliable. Are you sending enough valuable content to your email subscribers? Now, some examples, some of you might know James Clear. Atomic Habits is his most popular book, jamesclear.com. And I love his 321 Thursday. It's a very simple email. He gives you these 3 things, 2 things, 1 thing, and a little quote there that he has in his newsletter, the most wisdom per word of any newsletter on the web. It's simple and easy. I don't open every single one, but most weeks I see it right there. It's one of the ones that I do want to see and drag out of my promotions or updates folder, because it's just very inspiring and helpful and useful. And of course, I've mentioned a few times in the Marketing and Artificial Intelligence Institute, their emails absolutely drop into my main primary folder. So that's this brick number is about making sure that you have more value, you're mattering more. I like to say, everybody else is zagging, everybody else is woohoo all over here and going that direction. I like to, whoopsies, I went backwards. I like to zig. So, and everybody else is zagging, you zig. Be different, dare to be different, dare to stand out. Okay, so that was a focus. Brick 1 is focus. Brick 2 is matter more. Brick 3 of 5 is go deep, go deep. So this goes hand in hand with matter more. What does go deep mean? Well, we're going to listen to a wonderful nugget from a podcast by Joe Pulizzi and Robert Rose called This Old Marketing. It's from the HubSpot Podcast Network, and one of the more recent episodes. Joe, you might know, is the founder of the Content Marketing Institute and Content Marketing World, which he sold. But he's just a wonderful, wonderful guy, very creative, very real, very authentic. So let's have a listen to what Joe says. I've also got it typed out in written format on the next slide, in case you want to take a screenshot or you miss what he says. But it's really great wisdom from Joe. Let's have a listen.
The issue is that most companies out there, they basically are boiling the ocean with their video strategy, with their small screen strategy. They're boiling the ocean. They're just putting crap out there. They don't have any thought about it, when they would be better off taking a step back and saying, let's focus on being great and making a behavioral impact on one channel. And this is what we're going to talk about. And this is our mission. And this is our audience. And this is what we want to see. And if you do that really well over a long period of time, I think you will be successful, as long as you know that tomorrow it might be gone. And that's with any social media platform that you don't have control over.
Right.
The issue is that most.
Let's go forward. So I've got what he said there, talking about boiling the ocean. And then he literally said, they're just putting crap out there. They don't have any thought about it. But what if you could take a step back and say, all right, let's focus on being great, going deeper, mattering more, right? Making a behavioral impact on one channel. This is what we're going to talk about. This is our mission. This is our audience. This is what we want to say. And Joe's saying, if you do that really well over a long period, you'll be successful, as long as you know, be nimble. I always say, be nimble, be careful that you're not going too crazy with all your eggs in one basket, because all social platforms are rented land. You must be collecting email addresses and building your email address and adding tons of value, potentially also having a community. We'll talk about that in a minute. Maybe a Facebook group, but then of course that's still on a social network. Maybe you want to have an alternative third-party community platform as well as a Facebook group. So all of these platforms are rented land. We've got to take back control. So thinking about where can you go deeper? Are you trying to boil the ocean? Are you just pushing out nonstop content as your social media strategy? Is it time to let go of some low-performing channels? I know for me, I gave up on Twitter many years ago, even long before Elon was involved. I occasionally put out a tweet, but it's just not my mainstay anymore. I loved it. In the beginning, early days, Twitter was awesome. And then it just started to get lower and lower, like diminishing returns. And partly that's on me. I wasn't putting enough like lead magnets, and I wasn't really able to trace directly seeing an increase in business by using Twitter. And so I started to just taper off, and I let go of the person that was handling my Twitter content for me. By the way, I never delegate my voice. Nobody ever speaks as me. If I'm engaging with you in first person, that's always me. You'll know it's me. And then my team speaks as them and I speak as me. But yeah, so I was just like, okay, I still have a Twitter. And same with Threads. Many of you here similarly dabbled with Threads. And it's like, I don't know if I'm going to put effort into Threads. But for me, definitely it's Facebook and Instagram are my two mainstays. And then I do a little YouTube, a little LinkedIn. And so that's that. You know, the concept of 1,000 True Fans, Kevin Kelly came out with this, gosh, I want to say, oh, it was 2008 maybe, or even earlier. Kevin Kelly, wonderful, wonderful. You can Google him. But this whole concept of 1,000 True Fans, you can even just Google 1,000 True Fans and it'll come up and you'll learn more about that if you're not familiar with it. So the whole point is not to have millions of people following you who just don't really care and maybe just occasionally interacting with you. But rather, if you focus on these, what Kevin Kelly called true fans, these are people who hang on your every word. They are super loyal. They love you. They love following you, and they love to buy from you. So whatever you come out with next, your next book, they're already on the pre-order list, or they're on the wait list, or they're the first one to sign up for your event, or you got a new product out. They're the first ones to try it. They evangelize you. They're happy to be an affiliate. And so one way that you can lean into your audience more is potentially doing a customer outreach, looking to see who your top clients and customers are, maybe gathering some before and after case studies that you can use in your social media content and your marketing and your emails, and then having these customers, you nurturing them. They could be influencer marketers, ambassadors, it could be sources of referrals. So just an idea for you there on the brick about going deeper. 4 of 5. So we had focus, matter more, go deep, and now we're at be authentic. Now, guess what? Authenticity has been around forever. We just said in the very beginning, Facebook's 20 years old. I would say probably from about 2007, 8, 9, 10, several years in kind of the early to middle years of social media popularity, authenticity was a word that was thrown around everywhere. And then it just became so overused, the meaning became diluted. And I'm here to tell us that it's making a comeback because synthetic media, in other words, AI created content, is causing an erosion of trust. Now, I don't know about you, but my finger hovers over these, scrolling through, usually my Facebook feed, and I see something and I'm about to put the ha-ha or the love or the heart or the like or the wow, and then I get this kind of weird sinking feeling in my gut. And I'm like, wait a minute, is that even real? This isn't real. Am I about to endorse something? Because to me, that a reaction on social media is a form of endorsement. I'm like, I'm about to endorse something. It's not even real. So it's astonishing how much fake media is out there and how much people are just engaging with it without even thinking. This was a post I just threw into my deck here, 582 shares, Aurora in Finland. And it's like, same thing. This was one where I was almost going to go, oh my God. Now I know the Aurora lights anywhere in the world where you can see them in the Northern Hemisphere can be quite spectacular, right? But then I was like, oh my gosh, is that even real? And if you start looking at some of the comments, right? People are saying, someone saying, I've lived in Finland for 18 years. I've never seen that kind. This is fooling, and then someone else saying, yeah, there's no mountains in Finland like that size. Airbrush, way too much edited, Mr. AI created, someone's saying here, no, stop this crap. Now, I don't mind AI images, but if this person were to go AI created, or if I suppose if it has the little watermark on it, then Now, we just recently, a few weeks ago, had the solar eclipse, right? The solar eclipse was such a big deal across the United States, certainly in the southern, eastern, and northern eastern, right up across into Canada. And I got to tell you, friends, I have never seen so many fake images in my feeds with the solar eclipse. There was one with the Niagara Falls. It was the solar eclipse over Niagara Falls. It had 7,000 shares. It was fake. Oh, well, just for laughs, I thought I'd throw in a few others for you. Did you know the Mona Lisa and Leonardo da Vinci had their picture taken together in Florence in 1504? And the photographer was Keith Richards. Somebody says, apparently there's no photos of Leonardo and Mona Lisa. Another one here. This one's doing the rounds. Okay, for real. Keanu Reeves and his grandfather on his father's side. Now, I know he is Chinese Hawaiian. That part is true about Keanu Reeves, about the Chinese Hawaiian father. But grandfather, that looks like maybe more like his twin brother. I don't know. There's no way that's real. I was just like, what? Oh, people will just make anything up to share to get the likes. Now watch this one. This is really important because here's my draw tool. It says, zoom in and look closely at the circled areas in this picture. There's a high probability this image has been photoshopped, right? So you can see the circle here and the circle here. And this one, I swear to God, I'm doing this very same. I'm kind of in slow motion right now, but this is what I did. I was like, oh my God, wow. Yeah, that's probably in Photoshop. And then all of a sudden you're like, wait a minute. Sorry, King Charles. We don't mean to mock you, but he's got sausages for hands. So yeah, I think probably that one. It's not AI, maybe as AI created. Silly stuff. And then my friend Austin Armstrong here, I love to follow him. He's a fun creator. AI getting crazy here. And again, we don't mean to make a mockery of anything, but who knew that Uber Eats was delivering to the Last Supper? Silly stuff. Speaking of fake, did you know I was invited to be on the Joe Rogan podcast? What? Yes, I got invited to be on the Joe Rogan podcast. Yeah, right. This came in, and friends, I decided to insert this in here in your slides because as a warning to everybody, there is a scam that's been doing the rounds for a good year, maybe 2 years. And you will think that you're getting invited to be on a podcast. Then they tell you that has to be done through Facebook Live. And by the way, they're going to pay you. They're going to pay you. And this here, I got offered $2,000. And then they say, no, what does your schedule? They give us some dates. But what happens is because they're convincing you that the AI, well, I think this is all produced by AI, but the email anyway, they're convincing you that you have to give them access to your Facebook. So they literally convince you that you have to make them admin in order to do the podcast interview through Facebook Live. Then they take over, they kick you out, they start doing all kinds of shenanigans through your page. So never, never, never give someone full admin or even any kind of access to your social media accounts without absolutely 100% verifying and clarifying that it's legit and for real, because that's scary stuff. And I have heard of people, I didn't fall for it, but I have heard of people that have lost their page and taken their Instagram and or Facebook, and it's taken ages to get it back. So I'm here to tell you all, authenticity is making a comeback. And the more authentic, the more personal, I'm going to stop sharing for a second so you can see this is me for real on camera. This is not clone Mari. This is not fake Mari. This is not AI Mari. This is my real face. And I swear, friends, I think that more live streaming, live webinars, and in person, I think more in person, engaging with clients or events or meeting them at Starbucks for coffee or whatever you do with your clients, will be making more of a comeback, because that weird sinking feeling I'm talking about that we get in the gut of like going, is this real? Can I trust this? The more we can emphasize that human touch, seriously, the better. So I'm almost done here. This turned out to be a little longer than I thought. I'm going to give you some examples of brick number 4 of authenticity, and then we'll do brick 5. Mike Stelzner, as many of you might follow him, he's the founder of Social Media Examiner, been a friend of mine since 2008. And I have been so blessed to speak at every single one of the Social Media Marketing World conferences in San Diego. And Mike Stelzner, he's a writer. He's a born writer. He's a writer of the book called White Pages, Writing White Papers, it was called. He was the king of the white paper world. And then he started in the Social Media Examiner in, a long time ago now, 2008, 9. I think actually 2009 he did a like online conference, and then the Social Media Examiner came after that. But he started writing these long form posts, and you can see he gets a lot of traction on them. Another example, I mentioned Austin Armstrong. He's a wonderful creator, just a great person to follow. He switched his personal profile to professional mode, and he does a lot of content. Last I looked, he's getting close to 1 million followers, and he does a lot too on Snapchat, as well as what does he do? Snapchat and Instagram. And he does have a social media agency, and he does have, I'm trying to bring him up here while I'm talking to just check his numbers. Austin, there we go. I'd pause my screen just for a second. Ha ha ha. Do you see that? I love to share about Austin because he's just he's an authentic, genuine person, and he's super smart. He's super strategic. He has this Syllabi. Syllabi is his AI, Syllabi.io, and then he's got his Socialty Pro, his social media agency, and you can see he's closing in on 1 million followers. So just a great person. He's very, very, very fun to follow, very personable. He weaves in personal things with his family life and whatnot. And another person I think is very authentic is my friend Molly. I mentioned her earlier. She's very ebullient, effusive, enthusiastic, all the E's, excitable. She won't mind me saying all those things about her because she is. And she just very, like, back to I was talking about the human design. She's very self-expressed. She's just very authentically herself. So fun person. Dr. Seuss, today you are you. That's truer than true. There's no one alive who's youer than you. Embracing who you are. And if you're going, but Mari, I work for a company with 1,000 employees, or, I'm one of a team of 500. How can I really stand out? How can I make my company stand out? And ideally, each brand, each company, each business out there is also unique and different and has a competitive advantage and has that human touch. I've always said, it's P to P, or some people say H to H, human to human. I say people to people. How can you be more personal? B to B, B to C, whatever one you are, business to business, business to consumer, it's all people to people. Nobody does business with a logo or a building or a whatever, an icon. We do business with people. So looking to see how you can be more personal, possibly more vulnerable if it's comfortable for you. If you're like, Mari, no way, vulnerability is not my thing, then that's not you. Maybe, just like Mike Stelzner, he's very transparent in sharing his behind the scenes. He's also very strategic. Maybe you're just going to let your followers in behind the scenes, right? You work for a bakery. You're going to take the camera, you take the phone in, and here's how our cakes are made. And here's the head chef putting the finishing touches to this amazing chocolate cake. Uh-oh, now I've got chocolate cake on your mind. How can you build trust more? That's the thing, friends, that we've got to nip it in the bud right now, where AI is eroding trust, where people are going, can I trust this? Is this real? Is this a real person? Is this content real? And bringing in that personal aspect. Speaking of personal, our 5th brick is to build community. So building community. People long to belong. Great book. The 11th, I believe it's the 11th book here by my longtime friend, Mark Schaefer. It's called Belonging to the Brand. Why community is the last great marketing strategy. And then on a similar vein, this is Radha Agrawal. She is the founder of Daybreaker. Daybreaker is a wonderful it's like a morning yoga dance party with no alcohol. And some of you might be familiar with it. But she is really brilliant at creating community and living a more connected life. And she has a great book called Belong. So I've got that for you there in your slides. So connected communities, for sure, a Facebook group, still an extremely viable option. Maybe, though, it's time to look at a third-party platform instead, or as well. I choose as well. Mighty Networks is my platform of choice. There's Circle. Heartbeat is one that Social Media Examiner recently moved to. Or you might think about a chat group or a channel. You got Instagram and Messenger broadcast channels. I don't like those so much because they're one way. They're great for getting news. Like I follow Zuckerberg and Mosseri, their broadcast channels on Instagram. You'll get some news first, but you can't, it's not an interactive thing except for putting a like on it or voting in a poll. Maybe Telegram or WhatsApp or Discord or Slack. So, for example, I mentioned a few times about the Marketing AI Institute. They have a free Slack channel. It's free to join. You have to fill in their little form to apply, and then they send you a link. You can get that on their website, but it's a really great. I love Slack. I use it in my company all the time with my team. But it's a great way to build community is having your own Slack channel. So WhatsApp is certainly a possibility. So that any of you here, I know we have a big contingent here outside the US, and WhatsApp is absolutely leading the way as a global messaging app, and it's having its breakout moment in the US. So that's kind of interesting. Now, what do I? Oh, yeah. So this was Social Media Marketing Society by Social Media Examiner, and they made a big announcement back in February that they are basically decided we're done with Facebook groups, we're moving off. And the reason that Ali McGee, Kelly, who's the one that she runs the group, she said the reason is that, and I assume that Mike Stelzner was in agreement, but Facebook's deprioritizing group posts in the feed. Now, I pushing back. I'm like, I'm putting a big X through that. That's not true. Facebook is not deprioritizing any posts in the feed. What they are prioritizing is content that gets original content that gets great engagement and the recommended feed. And so that means you have to be recommendable. You're creating regular content like my friend Austin Armstrong, right? Or the examples I gave you is just making sure you're willing to keep testing and iterating. Now in groups, granted you have the @everyone tag. I'm not a fan of the @everyone tag. But I think, no, my group, the Social Scoop group, it does get some pretty good reach and engagement. It's just different strokes for different folks. Now watch this. Speaking of community, oh my gosh, Gina Bianchini, she's the CEO and co-founder of Mighty Networks. Before Mighty Networks, you might be familiar with Ning. Does anybody here remember Ning? Oh my gosh, way back in the day. Carrie saying the @everyone tag should be uncreated, in my opinion. I'm right there with you, Carrie. Every time I even remotely think about using it, I'm like, I just can't. I'm like, I go, oh yeah, but I have a really strategic reason. I really want to let everybody know about this webinar. But then I'm like, when I'm on the receiving end of that, I'm like, so-and-so tagged you. Now at least they changed the notification where it says, tagged you and others. Initially, when they first brought it out, it wasn't, but it's just so frustrating because it's like, really? So-and-so tagged you in a message and you click through to see it and you see that the message they tagged you in was, hey, buy my stuff. Hey, it's all about me. I just did this thing and I thought you'd want to know about it. Sorry, marketers. Anyway, what did Gina find out? Watch this. This is profound. I imagine that many of you here will not guess this. Gina and her company researched there is only one thing that matters to predict with 93% accuracy whether a community succeeds or fails. Can anybody tell me what you guess what it might be? Anybody? What do you think the number one thing that predicts with 93% accuracy whether a community succeeds or fails? Now, Bridget is saying connection. Caitlin, trust. These are good answers. Hi, Daniel. People talking. Excel, engagement. Okay, these are great answers. Melanie, attention rate. Lucia, members asking for specific content. Mario Lane, engagement, interaction. Darren, engagement. Melanie, attrition rate. Oh, a couple attrition rates, yeah. Relevance, the connection and people sending private messages, sharing. Oh, you're great. Some answers, friends. Common interests is a good one. Filling out their profiles, right? Transparency, that's a good one, Holly. Gail, transparency. Anna, belonging. Yeah. This one absolutely astounded me, friends. Watch what it is. This blew me away. It is how often members connect or collaborate with each other. Oh, it literally even gives me goosebumps. It gives me goosebumps. It's not even about the leader. It's not about the leader. It's not about the content. It's not about, AI, whatever. It's do the members like each other? Do they like and connect with each other? And do they collaborate and connect and discuss, and it's not always, simple and easy to create, but over time it absolutely will create what I call a flywheel. And I'm very fortunate to have that in my Social Scoop group. Is it time to build a group for you? Maybe a Facebook group is working for you. Maybe it's not. Maybe you're going to consider a third-party alternative. Maybe you're looking more deeply at what the purpose of your group is and looking to see what I call a flywheel of UGC, user-generated content. I'm so blessed and fortunate with my Social Scoop group that every single day, 99% of the content and engagement in my Social Scoop group is created by the members. It's like Gina said, they're connecting and collaborating with one another. And I love that. Now, of course, Adair, my chief moderator, and I, we are in there every day, many times a day. We're keeping an eye on things. We're making sure nothing gets out of hand. We have tight rules and we adhere by them. And we're in there engaging and commenting. And I do post my own content in there too, as well. So again, if you're not a member, come and join us in our social scoop. Many of you here are a member. And so let's summarize and wrap up here. So your 5 bricks, you're going to build trust and loyalty with these 5 bricks in this crazy, insane cacophony world of AI where everybody's jumping up and down and saying, try this AI tool and try that. And oh my God, let's get rid of all our staff and just have nothing but AI. And it's overwhelming and it's not necessarily the answer. Remember, pilot, 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 not pivot, pivot, pivot. So stay focused, matter more, go deeper, be authentic. And again, that's meaning more transparent, more in person, more personal, and building community. Okay, so those are my 5 bricks I recommend that you're building with. Now, a couple of things that's interesting. My partner Christopher was sharing with me that oh, I think I have it up on a YouTube right here. Typewriters. Can you imagine typewriters? Let me just mute that so we can play it for a second. Typewriters are making a big comeback. A typewriter rebellion is underway. It's attracting kids. There's a young boy in this video who talks about how he loves the feeling and the sound, the clack, clack, clack of the fingers and the smell of the ribbon. And it's much more like visceral experience. And so, yeah, we're going back to the analog days. I learned on a manual typewriter. I just love it. Some of you might know that Tom Hanks, the actor Tom Hanks, absolutely is a big typewriter person. Another thing with the crazy AI world is that younger kids today are choosing to go to trade schools to learn trades like welding, construction, practical, physical, hands-on skills, as opposed to necessarily going to college and get a business degree. With masses of AI hype, volumes of content and constant push marketing. Even though it's still 2005, I put here my little quote, push marketing is still 2005, right? Just pushing content out and not even engaging with people. We need to emphasize connection, relationship building, and fostering strong communities more than ever. People are scared out there. There's a lot of FOMO. There's a lot of fear. There's a lot of people getting duped, as I talked about in my webinar last month with Ben Angel, where people are at the receiving end of scams when it comes to AI, where they're being scammed out of money. People are cloning voices even. We got to stay grounded, friends. We've got to be ensuring that we keep coming back to this connection. And I've had this saying forever, content is king. And I used to say engagement, and we call it engagement rates, when engagement rates are down, but connection, I'm talking about connection is queen and she rules the house, because connection can happen in the DMs, in person, in comments, in groups, and just building those deeper connections. I know that's very important to me. And so what I have for you, my friends, is I would love to invite you to come and join a program that I'm going to be leading. I led this in November and December last year called Reels, Groups, and Ads. There's 3 of the most important key critical areas of your Facebook and Instagram marketing. And this time you can come back and join me. If you already were in the class last year, check your email. I do have a special invite for you. I'll put the link right here for everybody. And so what I'm going to be doing is teaching you an updated version of my Reels, Groups, Ads with an emphasis on AI empowerment. So I've got it as a crazy good sale offer, early bird offer. We're going to take a deep dive in this 3-part live workshop on how to grow your business by mastering the fundamentals. This is not for people who are super duper advanced. If you're already crushing it, you're already absolutely getting viral reels and you got a humming group and you're making millions with your ads. I know you probably wouldn't be here if you are, but that's awesome if you are. Kudos if you are. But this workshop is for, I would say, basic to not super beginner. Yeah, beginner to intermediate. It's not hugely advanced, except when we get to the ads part, we can give you a whole range. But you're going to master the fundamentals of AI-empowered Facebook and Instagram Reels, Facebook groups, and then advertising on the Meta platforms, even if you have a super low budget. We'll talk about exactly how Meta AI is impacting creators and marketers and advertisers, and what the company's launching, what they've already launched. And if you're in a country you don't have access yet, it's absolutely coming soon. And then we'll talk about how you can stay ahead of the Meta AI curve without losing focus. Remember the beginning of my talk where I talked about how much Zuckerberg is focused on dominating. This is just the tip of the iceberg. What Meta has launched with Meta AI is it's going to be amazing and phenomenal and frightening at the same time of what's coming. And then also which AI tools you really need to help you be more efficient, productive, and successful with your social media marketing, and which tools you can safely ignore. Now, it's not a huge, big, massive AI everything, because you just finished hearing my talk there about how we want to be more authentic, we want to be more personal. At the same time, there's definitely AI that can support you in being more successful and streamlined. And certainly Meta AI for generative text, image, and more. What's coming soon for creators, marketers, and advertisers, which I told you I'm under NDA, so I can't tell you just yet. So I've got an amazing super sale price for you right now. That's oh, and I should tell you when it is. It's going to be, it's not till 3 weeks time, because I'm actually going to be in Canada next week. I'm going to have Mother's Day with my mama up in BC, Canada. And so I had to pick dates that were fitting around my schedule. So we're going to meet 3 days in a row. Reels will be Monday, May 20, groups Tuesday, May 21, and ads Wednesday, May 22nd. And we absolutely will have the replays. I've got tons of bonuses for you. When you join, you'll get all the bonuses right away. And then I'm doing a bonus live Q&A class. So the following week on Monday, May 27, because you might have a lot more questions. So come on in and join me there. And we have got an amazing price right now. It's only $97. And then I also have a really special invitation, which you can upgrade and get what's called a social media marketing audit. And so I'm going to look at everything that I'll have you fill in a form, a special intake form. You're going to let me know exactly what you need support with. And I'm going to share with you in the video, I'm going to give you some valuable action items for immediate improvement, where to take advantage of any low-hanging fruit, how you can make more revenue, updated methods, ensure you're maximizing your organic and paid social media marketing. Okie dokie, friends. So love to see you there. If it's a fit, I will follow up with you. And I know many of you were there in the first round. If you want to come back in for the second round, as I mentioned, check your email. Actually, you can also go to the Reels Groups Ad Facebook group as well that we had for the first version 1. Oh, thanks, Dennis. So let's see. I might have a few questions, and I have a little bit of energy left. I know we went long today. We went long. Ed is asking, do you know if there are plans to make these features available on Instagram on web? I'm not sure what you meant by that, but that's when we first got started. I think maybe mobile. If you go to your mobile phone and you open either Messenger or Instagram or WhatsApp or all three, and you go to the search, it's inside, and in Instagram, it's inside the message. You have to go to the private message section of Instagram. For now, I'm sure it'll be baked in even more. But then you will see that you have the little circle. Remember the little colorful blue, purple Meta AI icon logo. And that's where you can access Meta AI. Tammy's saying, my biggest concern with all of this is privacy, particularly when working on clients' content. What are your thoughts on this? So yeah, absolutely, Tammy. What I would strongly recommend that everybody does is to create your generative AI policy. That's something actually I've started working on and I must finish. We talked about that in the webinar with Ben Angel, and you can actually look for it on the Marketing AI Institute, talk about it as well, so that you are super clear and upfront. This is how we use generative AI tools and apps and platforms in our company. This is what we do with our client data. Obviously, you might probably also have a privacy policy. I definitely have one of those. So the other thing too, though, Tammy, see, one of the things that Ben brought up in his webinar is how many of these platforms are using our content to train their AI, to train their large language model. The company that Ben mentioned in his the webinar he and I did together was Kajabi. And not to throw Kajabi under the bus, but Ben had noticed that they had changed their terms and that anything you load up to Kajabi, they were using to train their LLM, their large language model, their AI tools. And so you literally had to write to legal, like the legal department at Kajabi, and say, hey, I want to opt out. You're not allowed to use my content to train. And that had happened to Amazon, if I'm remembering correctly, where Amazon employees were using some generative AI tools and some trade secrets were getting out. Trade secrets where, you know, someone was just like, oh, summarize this document. As soon as you say something like, you upload a piece of content, summarize this document, or like compare these two documents, well, you've just given the AI that information. So now, you know, they're using it. Anyway, Tammy, that's a long-winded answer, but right now we don't entirely know, except for declaring and being transparent, saying this is how we use AI in our company. And for the different programs that you use, Ben's recommendation is that you proactively look to see where you need to contact them to opt out. And I'm 100% in agreement with Ben on this, where all of these platforms need to make it opt in, not opt out. We should be able to proactively say, sure, I'd like to participate. Use my content to train your AI. We should not have to be searching through the fine print and going, wait a minute, you monkeys are using my content. I never gave you permission. Oh, wait, what? I did? Yeah, it's in the small print. When was it now? Marketing AI Institute. They did a wonderful seminar and they had a great person on, an attorney. What was her name? Is it Krista? Crystal? She was amazing. So they had an attorney on talking about the implications, you know, of AI. So anyway, yes, okay, you're welcome. Thanks, Teresa. Let's see. Other questions I might hear. Hillary saying, I just asked Meta AI to help me write a social media post for digital marketing and social media. And one idea had said social media trends to watch for from 2023. Exactly. You see, that's the thing where all of these AI tools there's still a room for improvement. Oh, I was listening this morning to the Marketing AI Artificial Intelligence podcast. Just came out. It comes out on Tuesdays. And Paul was talking about Sam Altman, right? He's the founder and CEO of OpenAI. And Sam had done a talk, recent talk to a college, and he was saying something about how ChatGPT is, I'm paraphrasing now, but it was along the lines of how ChatGPT is the dumbest it will ever be. So we could say the same about Meta AI. All of these AI, especially generative AI, where it's going to generate content, is all from this point forward, it's only going to get smarter. In other words, is another way to put that. So, yeah. Some people were telling me the way they're using Meta AI is an alternative to help and support. So you need some support, you need some help. There's something not working on Facebook, and you can go turn to meta.ai and ask there on desktop, or go into your Messenger chat, Instagram chat, WhatsApp chat, and ask it directly, you know, hey, this happened in my group or with my ads or in my page. And, you know, what happens if I want to add a new admin or whatever it is, right? Okay, what else we got here? Mario Lane, you're asking, are ads changed a lot because of AI? Well, there's what Meta's introduced with their Advantage Plus shopping. They have the audience. There's some AI features in there. You'll notice that it's going to give you some different versions of text. I'm sure they're going to be adding more. Probably generative AI will get integrated into the ads manager. And so, but the performance of it, yes, as I was recommending there, or reading from the Q4 earnings call last week, how they were talking about how the recommendation of ads based on the same algorithms of what's recommending our organic content, that we're getting all of this better display of ads. I'm saying better. I don't know about you. Sometimes I see ads that are totally random and I'm like, why am I seeing this? And you can always tap the 3 dots and go, no thanks. So anyway, I think that's the questions. Anna was asking, will Meta AI be available in the UK? Yeah, absolutely, 100%. If you're in a country right now, friends, where Meta AI is not available, I guarantee you it will be coming very soon. My best guess is what's happened is was this the announcement? Yeah, I'll share that again. Is that certainly in Europe, there's just tighter rules and laws. This was the announcement was made on April 18th, and where they talk about the different countries and stuff. I think it was down here. You guys have great stamina. Thank you for hanging in with me. We went so long today, and there's a lot to cover. Available in the US. More to share. Okay, wait a minute. I think it was something about English speaking. Yeah. We're rolling out Meta AI in English in more than a dozen countries outside of the US. Now people will have access to Meta AI in Australia, Canada, Ghana, Jamaica, Malawi, New Zealand, Nigeria, Pakistan, Singapore, South Africa, Uganda, Zambia, and Zimbabwe. And we're just getting started. So about the UK, anywhere in Europe, my guess is that the reason it's taking a little bit longer is probably because of the fact that there's just more regulations, which I think is a good thing. Europe typically leads the way, right? Ha! Thanks, Daniel. I know it's funny to do a session, to do a prompt or a search for yourself. So anyway, you guys have been amazing. I love you. You're just a wonderful vibe. I can feel your vibe through the screens. Thank you for being here. I know it's been a long stretch of your day, morning, afternoon, evening. Love to see you in my Reels Groups ads program. If it's a fit for you, AI empowered. I'm calling it a 3-part workshop, but I am giving you that bonus 4th in-depth extensive Q&A. So pop that link there again. Come on, join us if it is a fit for you. I'd love to support you and help you in being more successful with your social media marketing. And awesome. Thanks, Daniel. Appreciate it. Lucia. Oh, you're so kind. It's only a reflection of your own vibe. I'm speaking out loud from Scotland. Scotland in the house. Yeah, exactly. Those are some good suggestions. Thanks, Janice. All right. I'd love to hang more. I better press the pause button. Many, many blessings to you. Have a wonderful rest of your day, evening, morning, afternoon. And thank you for being here. If you asked a question that didn't get answered, by all means, you can message me, Mari@marismith.com. Make sure you come and join my Facebook group. If you're not already a member, we're happy to see you there, Social Scoop. And we've also got the Mari Smith Superstars as well. Much love. See you soon. Ciao, ciao. Okay. Thank you. Thanks. Bye-bye.